Hey YouTubers, a working man's pride here today, or tonight. Tonight, this will be the part 1 of Will It Run? I am very positive that it will run. And I say that because, well, first before we talk about the chainsaw, let's see where I got it from. My dad, guy he works with, I forgot his name, asked if my dad wanted it. And my dad said yeah. And he brought it home. He didn't have no use for it, so he gave it to me because, you know, I do this stuff. And when I looked at it, I thought, yeah, that looks like kind of like a Craftsman saw. Well, I was right, because it is a Craftsman saw. So let's get these parts out here. I'm going to lay them out, and I will get back to y'all. Alright, you guys, I got it out. So, the first thing I did before anything was pull this ripcord to see if it had compression. And it does. See if I can hold it. Definitely has compression. And trust me, I know what a 2-cycle engine feels like without compression. The next thing I will do is I will pull this exhaust muffler off, and there will be a port on this top end head here. And what I'll do is I'll take my flashlight and I'll look into that port while I rotate the cylinder. I will take the plug out in order to not have to fight compression, and then use this ripcord here to rotate, you know, the flywheel that rotates your, you know, piston and stuff. And I will check to see the cylinder if there's any grooves in it. Then when I have it at bottom dead center, I'll look at the cylinder wall and get a general idea. But I know already with the amount of compression this thing has that I know I'm gonna say there's 99.9% sure that it's gonna look immaculate inside. Like no signs of really, you'll have signs of slight wear probably, but with the amount of compression this thing has, I already know that it's going to be pretty good. Now let me throw a tip out on, I know chainsaws, I'm not going to say anything for weed eaters or leaf blowers or any engines other than chainsaw 2-cycle engines. But a lot of times people, especially construction workers or framers, are really bad for this. But they will take their saw and they will start it up, and immediately as soon as this thing runs, they will go straight to cutting and have it at full throttle. Well, your cylinder wall expands from the heat faster than your piston does. And what will happen is it always happens over in this corner, over here at your chain and bar and oiler. This right here, this cylinder wall expands faster than the piston does. And what happens is when you run it at full throttle before letting it warm up slowly at idle, what happens is that cylinder wall expands and the piston is expanding, and it happens so fast that, you know, because you know you have it at a high temperature, they both expand and they make contact, because your piston is not making contact with your cylinder. What's making contact is the ring. That's the only thing that makes contact with that cylinder. But what happens is your actual cylinder will make contact with the cylinder wall here and cause a big scoring scratch. Go check out Steve's Small Engine Saloon, and he has a video on it. And he has an example of one. And it came from a framer, and he asked the framer, you know, and this is who I learned it from. He's a really good guy. Go check him out. You'll love him. That way you can get a better view of it. If not, take my word for it. But I would suggest go checking him out and just scrolling through his videos and stuff. That's where I learned it from, and you can learn a lot more from him. And you can get a better view on this video. I will link him down in the description. That way you can hit the description and go check him out. And he doesn't know that I'm doing this for him, but I like the guy, so I don't mind going the extra mile for him. Back to what the point of this video is. This is the overview. This is how I got it, how you seen it in the box at first. That's how I got it, you know. Somebody stuck the towel in there. It's got a CJY plug in it. I'm going to say Champion. Yep, it's a Champion. You probably can't see it because of the light. And it is a Sears Best Craftsman chainsaw. And it has gas operated. 2.8 cubic inches, you know, displacement in the block. And it's 18-inch bar. I do not have the bar or chain with it. It's fine, I can get a bar and chain. Main thing is everything here. I pulled out this little sour cream container. First thing comes out, air filter cover, screws up to this. Then the next thing is another set of towels. I undid it. Well, that's where all the screws that hold this cover on and all the other stuff in place, like this handle and this and all that other stuff, that's all right there. Hopefully every piece is there. If not, I can get one. I can get screws for it. And then the rest of it is the carburetor. The carburetor looks in really good shape. The diaphragm is not hard as a carp. It's very soft and pliable. That tells me this carburetor will run with that diaphragm. That will be the main reason of it not running. And that's why I said not to myself, this thing probably will not run because that diaphragm is most likely hard as a carp. But it's not. Very soft and pliable. So I am very positive this thing will run with that diaphragm in this carburetor. The needle and seat goes up and down. It actually looks really, really good. It'll need some minor cleaning, but it's really clean. So I got it like this, all disassembled in a box. My guess is that somebody tried working on it, they failed to do so, and they gave up, put it in a box, and just gave it to my dad. Didn't want anything to do with it anymore, and a lot of people do that. I mean, it's pretty old chainsaw. Not old, not what I would consider really old or pretty old, but it's got some age on it, you know, for a chainsaw. And it looks like it has been well used and not been looked after the best. But that's fine. I mean, it does have compression. The only thing next to do would be check for spark, and I'll pull that plug out, check for spark. If it doesn't have spark, I'll take the coil off and clean it and make sure everything is making a good ground. If not, I'll test the coil and the wires, and if the coil comes out bad, and so what. But if it doesn't spark, my first thing I'll do is I'll put a plug on it that I know will spark. And if that doesn't work, I had another plug that I know will spark, and if that plug does not work, then I will take the coil off and clean it up and put it back on. And if it still doesn't work, then I will take it off, test the wires, everything. I would unhook the ground switch to it, put it back on. If it still doesn't work, like I said, I'll take it off, test the coil, and then if the coil comes out bad, then I know that's what it is. And I will test the rest of those wires just to be safe. But I'm pretty sure I can get it running. But it's going to need fuel line, and I don't have any fuel line. I was going to just go ahead and get it running tonight because I just got it today, not too long ago, about an hour ago. But I don't have fuel line for it, and I don't want to use anything that's still on it, like the fuel line, because basically I'd be halving it back together, and then I'd have to take it back apart again. I want to be able to get it all running at one time. And plus, I need fuel line anyway, so when I go to buy fuel line, if this thing does not turn out to run, or something seriously is wrong with it, or connecting rod is busted, I don't know, something severe, which most likely it's not going to have a busted connecting rod. I've never seen that before on a 2-cycle. I'm sure it does happen, but like I said, I'll use the fuel line for something else. I have another chainsaw that I'm not going to make a video on because I know it'll run. But this is going to be a will it run, because, you know, I got it like this. This is part 1, the overview of it, and me telling you the plans and stuff. Basically, I'm putting it back in that box, and it's going underneath my bed beside the old school home light chainsaw in my bedroom, under my bed. and I'm going to get around to it and make a part 2, and that'll be me testing to see if this thing will actually run. And that'll just be me taking the plug out, like I said, pulling it over, seeing if it'll fire off its own power, checking the exhaust port, everything like that, checking up everything. And then the part 3 will be, you know, me cleaning it up after I verify that it runs, and, you know, reassembling the car, having to replace any parts that I had to do, I will replace them, you know, put a new filter, a new plug in it, you know, and stuff like that, you know. That'll be the part 3 of it. So that's how this video sequence is going to be. This is how I got it. This is what you see. There will be a part 2, like I said, following up on how it runs, if it'll run. And then if we can get it to run, there will be a part 3 of me going ahead and putting the carburetor all back together, and fuel line, servicing it, and cleaning it up really, really good, and then running it. I don't need the bar and chain on it. I will get that after I get everything cleaned up and running and together on it, and verify that it runs really good. Then I will go ahead and consider getting an 18-inch bar chain on it and go from there. So here's your part 1. Stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. And you'll learn a lot. Stay tuned.